It was nearly Christmas. Annie and Clarabelle were packed full of people and parcels. Thomas was having very hard work pulling them. "Come on, come on!" The coaches grumbled. "We're feeling so full. We're feeling so full." Thomas looked at the hill ahead. "Can I do it? Can I do it?" Suddenly, he saw a handkerchief waving from a cottage window. He felt better at once. "Yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can." And was soon resting in the station. "That was Mrs. Kyndley who waved to you, Thomas. She has to stay in bed all day."
"Poor lady. I am sorry for her."
Engines have heavy loads at Christmas time, but Thomas and Toby didn't mind the hard work when they saw Mrs. Kyndley waving. But then it began to rain. It rained for days and days. Thomas didn't like it. Mrs. Kyndley couldn't wave on wet days. But whether she waved or not, they always whistled when they passed the little cottage. Next morning, the sun shone, the birds sang. Thomas was happy. "Come along, come along."
"We're coming along, we're coming along."
Thomas's fireman said, "Hello, look at that." Hanging, flapping and bedraggled from a window of Mrs. Kyndley's cottage was something that looked like a large red flag. "Mrs. Kyndley needs help, I expect." Then everything seemed to happen at once. The driver put on the brakes and Thomas stopped. "Oh, Jiminy Christmas." The guard came up to Thomas's cab. "See if there's a doctor on the train and ask him to go to the cottage. Then walk back to the station and tell him that we've stopped. I'm going to the cottage." He found the doctor with Mrs. Kyndley.
"It was silly of me to faint, wasn't it? But you saw the red dressing gown hanging out of the window, didn't you? Are you all safe?"
"Oh, yes, thank you, ma'am. I've just come to thank you. You know what, doctor? There's a landslide in the cutting. Mrs. Kyndley saw it from the window, and she stopped us. She saved our lives. God bless you, ma'am." They'd cleared the line by Christmas Day, and the sun shone as a special train puffed up from the junction. The engines whistled and called out when they reached the cottage. "Happy Christmas! Happy Christmas!" The Fat Controller was there, and lots of other people who wanted to say thank you to Mrs. Kyndley. The people got out and climbed to the cottage. Thomas and Toby wished they could go too. The Fat Controller, Thomas's driver, fireman and guard went upstairs to give Mrs. Kyndley some presents. Mrs. Kyndley was very pleased.
"Oh, you're very good to me. Very good indeed."
Mrs. Kyndley is now at Bournemouth, getting better every day, and Thomas and Toby are looking forward to the time when they can welcome her home.